Hi everyone, thank you for joining. Hi, thank you for joining my live. How are you? King Barrow. Is that the right spelling? How are you doing? Hi, Jeremy or Jeremiah. Hello, how are you? Thank you for joining this live. Oh, nice. Great to hear your fine King Barrow. Is it Barrow or Barra? Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining this live. Please say hi on the chat. How are you all doing? It's a Sunday evening in Kenya. It's actually, let me confirm my time. It should be 6:18 p.m. How are you all doing? Thank you for joining this live. Oh, thank you. Thank you for your kind words. How is everyone doing? What time is it from your end, Jeremy or Jeremiah and King Barrow? Or how are you? Where are you joining this live from? Thank you so much for joining. It's great to have you here. This is Quintas Daily. Just a moment to unwind or to just have an evening rest and a good time as we look forward to a new week starting tomorrow. Tomorrow is Monday. Yeah. Okay, it's good to know it's 3 p.m. 2 hours behind Kenya. That's great. It's still Sunday evening. Wow. Thank you for joining this live. I appreciate you. How has your Sunday been since morning? Thank you, everyone, for joining this live. It's great to have you. Please like my live if you don't mind, and kindly subscribe to my channel if you haven't before. But in a short while, we'll be talking and learning from each other. So feel, should I say feel at home? No, just feel comfortable in this live, and thank you for tuning in. Thank you, Alice Kibunga. How are you? Where are you joining from? Jeremiah is asking what's this live for. Is this I do live often just to share a word of encouragement or to challenge us or to also hear and learn from one another, just to encourage you with a word. It could be a story. So just be patient. Yeah, there's something for you, I believe. But thank you for joining the live. Mm. Alice, how are you doing? Thank you for joining this live. And Jeremiah, please go and subscribe to my channel. You can also go through the channel, go through the chat, the post, the videos and shorts to learn more about this channel, so that whenever you see my face, you will know what to expect. Something to inspire you, something to encourage you, to challenge you, to uplift your spirit. Yeah, and just to help you move on and just continue with life, or just to get challenges as you take your daily activities or as you live right here on earth. You need an encouragement at some point, or to be challenged or to be encouraged. And hi, Jeremiah Mwangi, thank you for joining this live. How are you today? Yeah, thank you all for joining. It's good to have all of you here, and I'll be glad to hear from everyone today. So please say hi on the chat and let us know how are you doing, where are you joining from, and how has your day been? Yeah, okay. Okay, as you keep them coming. So today is a great day. It's been a great Sunday for me. I believe for all of you, or for most of you, if not all. And today I'm just wondering, and I would like to know from all of us, if you don't mind, what is one thing that you fear the most? People have different lists of the things they fear, and today I'll just share one of the things that I fear the most. But just to mention some of them, and you could maybe go through them and really ask, what do I really fear, and how do I overcome my fears? Some people fear animals. It could be wild or domestic. Some people fear chicken or cow or lion, antelope, name it. There are people who just fear animals or even insects. The small insects, yeah, there are people who fear them. Yeah, the sight of them just makes them freeze. And it's true, it's something not really funny, but yeah, there are people who fear animals. There are people who fear heights. Yeah, there are people who struggle a lot with height, and there are also people who struggle a lot with the people who have maybe height phobia or water phobia. I know some of us are here, I know some of us are not here, but there are also people who struggle with emotional issues, or maybe issue of self-esteem. There are people who struggle with or they fear taking risk. I know all of us have, and I would be glad to hear from all of us. What is one thing that you fear? As I share my story, I fear many things, but just one thing that I'm going to share today. It's funny, but it's real. Fear is real, and how do you know you fear something, and how do you overcome it? Yeah, so it's going to be a great evening just to story tell. So you can just tell us on the chat one thing you fear, and for how long have you been afraid of it or scared of it, and how do you plan to overcome it, or it's going to be a lifetime fear or scare. Yeah. For me, I fear so many things, but just for today, I also fear water. Not the one we drink or the one we bathe with, because I love to drink water a lot. Of course, I bathe daily and we use water quite often. But just going, maybe water as a means of transport, or going inside a boat or inside an ocean or a lake or a dam. Ah, I don't know why, but I really fear that. And not long ago, we were just going somewhere with friends, and just wanted to overcome my fear of, we call it hydrophobia, or the fear of water. And I was feeling that I'm already dead even before I began the journey, and I made all the confessions and all the prayers I could before getting inside water so that just in case I don't come back. Oh God. Yeah, so that's my fear by the way, and I need to overcome it. But I don't know about yours. It's funny, but it's also not funny. It's real. Some of the things that we fear. When you hear someone tell you, I fear an insect like a fly or maybe something like millipede, you would wonder, are you serious? Why do you fear that? But for me, I have a hydrophobia, and I don't know the sight of, you know, that water that you can't really see its ending. You can see where it begins, but you can never see where it ends. It scares me. It makes me freeze. So not long ago, just going in water, and I was freezing. I was with a group of people and they were having a good time. They were screaming. They were having the best time of their lives. But for me, I don't know, I was just holding my breath that that trip could end so that I get back to land or get out of it. So that's my fear. I don't know about you. But some of us also fear things like maybe taking a risk or starting a new thing, or maybe going to live in a different place, or like I said earlier, some people fear animals. The sight of an antelope or lion, or even a cow or a sheep. Yeah, but it's real, and the fact that we fear is doesn't mean that we are weak. I think we are just humans, and there's just something inside, deep inside, that we are struggling with. Like, for example, my case of hydrophobia. How do I really overcome it? I challenge myself that day that today I'm going to have a good time, a boat ride in the water, and I was holding my breath all through. But along the way, when we were almost coming out, I gathered some level of courage and started to feel comfortable and started to have the fun that the rest of the group were having. So, how do you overcome your fears? First, you have to acknowledge that you fear something, that you struggle with fear. That is the first step, because you can be afraid, or you can be so fearful but you don't acknowledge. You want to prove that nothing scares you or you're not afraid of it. But the moment you've acknowledged it, is already a step, that I fear something, and then what next should I do? I take an action to begin to overcome it or to get help. When you fear something, you should try to just access it. Or for example, like the hydrophobia, going into the water, it didn't kill me, and but I feel that I was already dead even before I got inside it. Just taking action to really explore and realize that it's just in the mind, just the negative mindset that you have. How about you try see the positive side of it? What will happen if I just try to interact with those who fear animals, or those who fear heights, those tall buildings? When you go to the top and just stand there and try to view the ground, you feel like you're already gone, but in real sense you are not gone. It's just that inside, something inside you that is really you are trying to struggle or to battle with. And it's just that there's that negative. It could be an experience that someone had before with some of those things we fear, or it could just be something that you were born and you grew up and you just found yourself hearing some things really. Yeah. So how about taking an action to try and explore? If I go to the rooftop and try to view the ground, will I die? No, I will not die. The fear is inside there, but I'm trying to overcome that negative mindset in me, that if I step in the water, if I go on the rooftop, if I touch this animal, you will not die, you will freeze. But with time, you realize that, so why am I even afraid of such things? taking an action or trying to explore and really find out, so why did I even fear this? And then you can also seek help if it's very extreme. Yeah, there are people that fear things that when they just, the sight of that thing could make them faint. It is very serious. So try to seek help, and share with people who can help you overcome. Could be friends, could be maybe professionals, the ones who know how to deal with psychology. Just seek for help. It really helps. Share with friends. There are also people who had gone through such kind of scenarios, fearing things that they shouldn't, but they overcame. How did they overcome it? Have a group of people around you who can challenge you. Yeah, there are some, just one thing that I fear to share for today, just one. But I have so many other things that I also fear, but I'll not share them today. I would also want to hear from you just one thing that you fear. It could be something physical, it could be something emotional that you're really struggling with. It could also be mental or psychological. Just one thing. And how long have you been afraid or feared it? And what are you doing to overcome it or to conquer your fear? Yeah, as I give a shout out to all of you who have just joined and saying hi. Albert, thank you. Jasmine, thank you. Hi, how are you doing? Thank you for the compliment. Hi, Mama Twins. And I see you. Good evening, Ma. Good evening. How are you right from Nigeria? I see you. Thank you for joining this live. My twins and I, what do you fear the most? Please tell us. And thank you for joining this live. If you're just joining right now, please do well to like my live. Just tap twice on the screen or on your phone or on whatever you are watching from. And do well to subscribe. I would really appreciate you. If you don't mind, kindly subscribe. As we hear from one or two of us, one thing they fear, the physical one, precisely. As we also maybe switch to the people who have emotional fears, psychological, mental, I don't know, there's something. Someone maybe fears something like talking to people, strangers. Of course, we all fear talking to strangers, people you've never met before. It's not easy, but there are people who just fear talking in a congregation or in a crowd. Yes, they are there. How can they be helped? There are people who fear starting a new thing or just taking a risk. You are so comfortable with your current status or level. You don't want to take a risk because you don't know. The fear of the uncertainties. Yeah, that's the word. I don't know how tomorrow is going to be. It scares me. I don't want to try this because what if I try and it backfires or it doesn't work out? There are people who fear that. Yeah, there are also people who fear people who are loud. There are people who just, yeah, naturally they are loud. It's not because they bully others, but that's how God created them. That's their strength or gift. When they talk, you just freeze. I know all of us have one or another. We could have one or more, but just for today, could someone just share? Let's make this live interactive. One thing you fear could be emotional, it could be mental or psychological, just something physical you fear. It could be an animal, it could be nature. There are people who fear going into the forest or up the mountain. Those people who struggle with height, going to the mountaintop and trying to view the ground or down the valley. Yeah, let's make this interactive so that we learn. What has been your greatest fear or struggle? Is it extreme? Has it been extreme? How are you overcoming it? Or how have you overcame it? Or how did you overcome it? Hi Daniel, thank you. Please tell us your fear. Just one. Do you fear water or mountain or wild animals or domestic ones? I would be so glad to hear. I'm really curious to know what some of us, if not all of us, fear. And if you don't fear at all, it could also be good to tell us so that we learn. How do you manage it? Yeah, and it's a Sunday evening, and it also be good to to know how you've been. The week is actually, the weekend is ending in a few hours' time. It's almost 7 from my end, 7 p.m. And tomorrow is a new week. How prepared are you for the new week? Wow. Wow. Thank you for being here and for liking my live. Thank you for joining. If you are just joining now, please say hello. How are you doing? Tell us on the chat. How has your day been? Is it Sunday evening for you or it's Sunday afternoon? What are your How prepared are you for the new week? What are the fears that you have as you look forward to a new week, and how do you intend to overcome them? I would be glad to know. Wow. Yeah, so I was just sharing my fear, the physical one, but I would also switch a little bit to acknowledge that some people also have emotional fears or emotional struggles, or they're all mental. You fear, maybe you fear walking before people, and when you see a crowd of people, and when you think at the thought of just passing before all of them makes you freeze and you just want to fall or faint. There are people who fear just the fear of not knowing tomorrow. How scary is it, or how extreme is it for you that you don't know tomorrow, so you're just afraid? There are people who have fear of, people who are loud, or there are people who just struggle with self-esteem just for no reason. What is it that you fear really, and how do you overcome it? Yeah, so it doesn't matter whatever you fear, but for the emotional ones and the mental ones, I would say that that negative aspect that just makes you feel like, I am not good enough, I'm not able to handle this before this multitude of people, this group of people. I can't go and stand and talk before them, or I can't express myself before them. God did not give us the spirit of fear, but the spirit of power and sound mind. Yeah, the spirit of confidence. So I pray that you will remember that, you always remember the truth, that when your negative thoughts try to overcome you, remember the truth, and that truth will help you overcome. The truth will uphold you, because some of the things we fear are not even, some are real by the way, but some of them are not even real, they're just imaginations. And sometimes we focus so much on people and they don't even focus about us. People are so busy with their lives, they are so focused with ensuring that their lives run as usual, and you are busy struggling with, how am I going to talk to these people, or how am I going to express myself, or how am I going to do this before A and B. They don't even care. You are really struggling with your own fears, and you don't even know how to interact with them or just to maneuver around them. They don't even care. So it's just an issue of, you just let the truth overcome the negative mindset, because the truth always remains today, tomorrow, forever. It doesn't change. Yes, I pray that God will help all of us who fear something. Fear is not a good thing, but it's there at times because we are humans and we have emotions. Yeah, and it's not wrong to fear, but the moment you allow it to overcome you, I almost died before getting into the water, not because it was scary, but it was in my mind. Just the sight of it, it makes you freeze. It makes you feel like, I am gone. I can't do this. It's in the mind. But the moment you take a step of faith and say, I'm going to do it, let me do it. Let me see what happens. What's the worst that can happen? When you just set your fear aside and let it be, and just hold on to the truth and do it by faith, you realize that the fear was just dragging you behind, and it's not too late. For those who are struggling with various types of fears, I don't know the one you are struggling with, but I would pray and ask and hope that you will not allow your fear to overcome you, but you'll allow the truth of God to overcome your fear and just take a step of faith and try and see what happens. You realize that nothing actually happens. You realize that you conquer. You'll just realize that it was just it was your mind playing with you. If I would say that, if it makes sense. It was just your inner being trying to manipulate you for no particular reason, because it has already known that this is the moment you overcome this, you'll be stronger. The moment you overcome your fear, so it tries to bring you down with that, because it knows this is your weakness. So it's just in the mind. It's just a matter of you allowing yourself to not to be overcome by fear, but to overcome it by the truth of God and by a step of faith. Try it today and see. There's nothing that will happen, or even if something happens, what's the worst that can happen? As long as you don't die and you've tried whatever that you're afraid of trying, it could be just trying something new or taking a step of faith. Nothing will happen. And even if it happens, it's not the end of the world. As long as you're still alive, as long as you made a right decision, that's not regrettable. There's always another chance. And the fact that you overcame your fear and took a step of faith, I don't think it was, I think it would be worth it. And the worst that can happen is that you are no longer alive. But as long as you still exist and you still have breath, that's the worst that can happen. So I pray that you and I will overcome our fears moving forward by taking a step of faith and by living according to the truth that there's no fear in love. The Spirit of God doesn't give us the spirit of fear, but spirit of sound mind, of power, of confidence, self-control. The fruit, just this fruit of the Holy Spirit. May it lead us, may it guide us, that His Holy Spirit will guide us through and through. And by the way, the fact that even the fruits of the Holy Spirit, fear is not even in the list. But at times we feel afraid because we are humans. But may God help us to always remember His truth. May also help us to always seek Him when we feel afraid, when we are scared, when we are afraid of our situations, of the unknown. May we put our trust in Him, because it's only the assured hope that we have, or is only the one and true, or the only source of hope, or the only one who stands, who doesn't change. So when we feel afraid, may we also find our hope or put our hope in Him, and may He help us. He's always willing and able to help us. So when we feel overwhelmed by our feelings, emotions, or the psychological part, the mental part, may we remember that God is always there for us. And when we are afraid, may we put our hope or trust in Him. He'll be able to help us any day, any time. And I pray that as the week begins, you will conquer the week with courage, with confidence in God, strength in God. May He help you, and may you remember that He doesn't give us the spirit of fear, a spirit of power, self-control, sound mind. And the fact that we yield to the Holy Spirit every day to lead us, may we remember those fruits of the Holy Spirit. May we yield, and may we help ask for His help. That God, I feel afraid, I need to overcome this. I feel afraid of this one, or I fear this one in particular, but I put my trust in you, my assurance, my blessed assurance, Him alone, my solid rock, my refuge, yeah, my pillar, my source of hope, my anchor. It's only God who remains constant. And even when we don't remain faithful, He's still faithful. So maybe always run back to Him when you feel overwhelmed or feel afraid or battling with fear of something, of fellow human beings. It could be the nature, it could be animals, it could be fear of starting a new beginning, or fear of maybe moving to the next level, or fear of the unknown, especially tomorrow. May we put our trust in Him. May we be able to ask of His help. As you look forward to a new week and the many days to come, may you put your trust in Him. And may you remember that He is a God who doesn't give us a spirit of fear, but of sound mind, spirit of self-control, and of power and love, and those good fruits of the Holy Spirit that we know. Yeah, I pray that if you've joined this live, this particular moment, I pray you've gotten something to help you, and I pray that you've gotten something to challenge you. And kindly, if you're just joining now, if you don't mind, you can also tell us hi on the chats. How are you doing? Where are you joining from? What time is it from your end? And what do you fear really? Or you don't fear anything, but if you do, I pray that God will help you to overcome. Take a step of faith and try it. Just explore. Take an action and see what happens. You realize that you've wasted so much time fearing for nothing. Yeah, and may you put your trust in Him when you feel overwhelmed by fear or when you are afraid. Yeah, and this is Quinta's Daily. That's the channel, and it's all about just encouraging someone, uplifting someone, inspiring someone, challenging someone. So if you're just joining this live for the first time and you're seeing this channel for the very first time, please do well to like it. Please do well to go and subscribe to my channel. Pass by and watch a short or a video or a live like this one or a post, and trust you me, you'll not be the same again. I pray that you get something to encourage you, and I pray that you'll also challenge me on the comments and encourage me as well, so that we can grow together and make the world a better place. Bye bye for now, till next time.